ANC goes into its policy conference with the state capture inquiry's findings looming in the shadows, which implicated some of its members. And voters are tired of the ruling party's track record on delivery on many fronts. There's a restlessness in the country which manifested itself in the July riots last year. Ratings agencies will be keeping a close eye on how the party will be looking to rectify some of the country's socio-economic ills.
Against the background of, the July unrest, we are likely to see a bit more radical policy positions. And I think the ratings agencies may have factored that into the equation because they are worried about the fiscal policy position of the country. They are worried about possible debt, and as a result, they think that more of radical policy path will be pursued.
While its leaders talk unity in public spaces, it's common cause that the ANC is a divided party, riven with ideological differences and factions. Policy formulation over the next few days is likely to be a difficult prospect against this backdrop. There's keen interest to see what the positions will be around the state's role in the economy.
The developmental role in theory is fine, but in practice it has been corrupted by the negative influences within the ANC. And I think this debate as to just how much contribution the state plays is going to continue to play itself out in the policy conference. The issues surrounding the state-owned enterprises in particular, and whether there should be a hiving off of some of them to the private sector in public-private partnerships, or perhaps even the state ridding themselves of some of the non-performing SOEs. There's an ideological debate behind that. Certainly those who are central planners and who believe in the power of the state will want to retain state control. Those who see vested interests as being important and jobs for pals as being important will want to see the state continue to have control over the SOEs. Those who believe in a more pragmatic and market-friendly approach will want to see the SOEs perhaps watered down and some of them put into private hands. And I think these debates are going to rage within the ANC. There really is very little ideological cohesiveness, and the factional fighting that exists within the party, the differing views about leadership and about economic policy and about the role of the state are going to continue to plague the ANC as it has done for the last number of decades.
But the real threat or the real political risk to South Africa may well be the lack of implementation of policies that could really change the fortunes of ordinary people's lives. A common complaint about a succession of ANC governments.
Implementation is what is lacking on the part of government. There's been conferences and summits, a lot of talks, but little implementation. And I think this policy conference would not have done justice if they don't talk about implementation, particularly the capacity of the state to implement some of the wonderful decisions that may have been taken in the past.
Ultimately, credit agencies and investors will also be looking to see if there's policy certainty. Such assurance bodes well for confidence, which in turn positively affects an appetite to invest in the country's economic sectors, grow the local economy and create jobs. Nompumelelo Siziba, SABC News, Johannesburg.